Now today's topic is all about the Americana. Look right behind me. This is a game-changing new product in the industry today. And talk about using a product that's going to give you shine, depth, and gloss. This is it, baby, right here. Now, whether or not you're a high-end professional with years of experience behind you, or you're brand new to the paint correction industry, the Americana line of products, the systems and procedures are going to turn you into the professional you truly want to be. All right, everybody, so you've already got the introduction on what we're all about here. So I want to go right into the process of doing paint correction and paint defect removal. Now, this car has got moderate damage, and I'm going to use two different compounds from the Americana product line. I'm going to use 1000. I'm going to use a cutting pad that's really going to remove all of these defects and give me the look I want. Next, I'm going to follow up with the 1500 grit compound to really give me a nice paint defect-free finish, and then I'll follow up with the finesse polish that's going to give me that shine, gloss, and depth I'm truly after. What's really cool about Americana and their product line is they've actually designed a system, and as a professional detailer, I'm always looking for a system that's going to do right by me, making sure I can offer my customers the results and the finish that I'm truly trying to achieve. So with the Americana product line, they have 6 pads of choice, which is really cool. That's an abundance of pads. We have 3 cutting pads, a wool cutting pad, a microfiber cutting pad, and a foam cutting/polishing pad. Then we're going to go into the polishing side where we have a heavy or a medium cut polishing pad, a light cut polishing pad, and then a fine finish polishing pad. Okay, first choice I have to make out of the 3 combinations, I have to choose the right machine for the job. I've chosen an orbital machine so that I can get all the defects out of this paint quick and easy. Next, I have to choose what cutting pad. I've decided to use the Americana microfiber cutting pad to get the results I'm looking for. This is a simple hook and loop engagement. Just want to center the pad onto the backing plate of the machine. Make sure you got good engagement. Check your pad. Make sure it's attached really well. Next, we're going to apply the chemical. Before I get started on the paint correction process, I need to evaluate the paint. I use this Scan Grip Light. It's really an accurate measurement of how much defects I have in the paint that I have to remove. If you look through here, you can see all the swirls, holograms, some of the bad scratching, and this is what I want to try to do is remove all of these defects and give me 3 things. I want shine, I want gloss, and I want depth. In order to achieve that, I've got to remove all of these defects to make that happen. Okay, I've evaluated the paint and I've determined that the clear coat is extremely hard, which means it's kind of difficult to remove defects out of the paint. So I've chosen Americana 1000 grit heavy duty compound. Now this is going to do the job along with this pad and this machine, the job that I'm truly looking for. So I'm just going to add 4 pea-sized drops of compound to the microfiber cutting pad from Americana with the Americana 1000 grit compound, and I'm going to do a technique called jeweling in. I'm actually going to set it onto the paint. I'm going to kind of what I'm doing is I'm jeweling it into the microfiber, and I want to make sure that the pad is what I call primed. I'm going to add 4 more small drops, and I'll be ready to start the paint correction process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain a couple techniques in order to get the defects out of this paint. I always want to make sure that when I place the pad on the face of the paint, I keep the pad flat at all times. I'm going to do 3 passes. I'm going to do 2 back and forth and 2 up and down, then 1 last pass and 1 last pass going horizontal and vertical. Always try to keep control of your machine because that's what's going to give you the result you're looking for. Okay, so I'm done making my passes. I went vertical and horizontal 3 different times. Now I want to remove the chemical. I'm going to check my work and make sure that I'm getting the defect removal I'm looking for. Just remove the product off the surface of the paint. Circular motion. Wow, even without the light, I can see something's happening. Now with my light, I want to check. I'm very, very impressed. Couple passes, and I've got, I'd say 90% defect-free finish here. Okay, so now that we're done with the microfiber pad and the 1000 grit heavy cut compound, I'm going to switch to another cutting pad, which is a foam cutting pad, and I'm going to switch to the Americana 1500 grit compound. Now this isn't quite as aggressive, but because, like I said earlier, the paint on this car is extremely hard clear coat. So I'm going to stick with another compound. I'm going to stick with a foam cutting pad. I want to really make sure that I get every bit of defect I can out of this car before we take the next step and go into polishing. So I'm attaching, just like I did the microfiber pad, I'm attaching the foam pad, make sure I got a good engagement. Now I'm going to be adding the 1500 grit Americana compound. Like I said earlier, make sure you shake it up good. Let's apply 4 small drops. Exact same thing we did on the last step we're going to do on this step. It's just a little bit lighter of a cut. I'm going to set the pad on the surface of the paint. I'm going to drill it in. Get it started. I'm going to add 4 more small pea-sized drops, and I'll be ready to go to the next phase of paint correction. Same thing, I want to keep the pad nice and flat on the surface of the paint. I'm going to go horizontal and vertical, a few passes, then I'll check my work to make sure I've got the result I'm looking for. Okay, I'm finished with the 1500 grit compound and I'm finished with the foam cutting pad. Now what I want to do is I want to again check my work to make sure I'm getting the results I'm looking for. Nice soft microfiber towel. Depending on the type of towels you use, you don't want to reintroduce a new scratch to the surface you're trying to correct. So make sure you make the right choice in the towels that you use while you're working on a project like this. Take my light. Oh my gosh. In most cases, I would tell you right now, this is exceptional work and it's very satisfactory. Most customers would love this finish right here. We're going to go ahead and take it to the next step though, to make sure that we get that shine, gloss, and depth that I'm truly looking for. Now, one of the coolest things about these two compounds, you're going to hear a lot of talk about how all these products that are being sold on the market are dust-free. In most cases, I wear what's called a respirator mask. As you can see here, there's virtually no dust anywhere on this vehicle. I'm saying almost zero dust, and that's a healthy environment. Okay, with the Americana line, we have several finishing pads that are really cool. This is a medium cut foam pad and this is a fine finish foam pad. So in this case, as I have stated, the clear coat is very hard. So I have choices between my foam finishing pads. I'm going to go with a medium polish pad, this orange medium polish pad from Americana over this light pad because I think it's going to give me a better finish. Same exact thing, we're going to attach this foam pad to the backing plate, spin it, make sure we're nice and centered. I'm going to add the polish to it and we're going to get rocking. Okay, when it comes to polish, the Americana Finesse tops the list. One of the things that you're looking for in a polish is getting the finish that you're looking for. This is a very difficult thing because polishes have a tendency to play a different role in each paint that you work with. Hence why I do a test area. I'm going to add 4 drops, no different than the other steps that we took to make this thing happen. I'm going to put it on the car, jewel it in, turn it on. I'm going to add 4 more drops to the surface of the pad. Now, the one thing about finesse polish is you've got a lot of working time. It takes very little chemical to do an entire area. Be careful of the overusage of how much chemical you put on the car. Let's get this thing going. Now we're going to look for that finish we really want. Okay, so what I've just done is I've taken the finesse polish and I've actually taken it through what I call an entire polishing cycle. Almost all of my polish is starting to come off the car. That's the end of the polishing cycle. I want to wipe off my residue and see if I've got that result that I want to finish with. Okay, now we want to remove this excess polish. And again, I can't stress the urgency of using a very nice microfiber towel to remove product. Again, you don't want to introduce a new scratch using a cotton or polyester towel and put scratches back in the surface of your paint. So a nice soft microfiber towel, I'm going to go in a circular motion. I'm going to wipe off the polish residue. There's a lot of oils and things like that, oils and lubricants that are inside the polish. We want to make sure we remove all that off of the surface. And then we're going to check our work and see what we've got as far as a result. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. You can get this at pretty much any grocery store. It's 70%. I'm going to mist the towel, and I'm going to remove any of the oils, solvents, and lubricants that are in my polish to make sure that I've got all of the defects out of the painted surface before I go to the next step. Okay, my last step here. I want to make sure that I got the finish that I'm looking for. Oh my gosh. Americana comes through in a big way. Look at this finish. I would say it's about 95% defect free. This looks frigging awesome. Come over here and you see the before, all the swirls, scratches, all the damage in the paint. Coming back over here, you're going to see a lot of three things: shine, gloss, and depth. This paint now has that look that you can almost reach into the paint. Amazing results. And then I know exactly what to do on the remaining part of the car. This is Mel Craig speaking for the Americana product line. I'm out.